Hey guys, it's First Zen from Hitbox Heroes, and today I want to talk a little bit about EVE Online. So I guess I should start with my history with EVE Online. I discovered the game probably freshman, sophomore year of high school. I can't remember exactly, which was it was about 8 or 9 years ago. So it's a game that I've known about for a really long time. The game itself is pretty old. It's older than that. I think it's been around 11 years now, almost 11 or 12 years. I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, a really long time for a game to be around. And one of the things that's really interesting about Eve is that though it's been around for so long, and though it's a subscription game, and even though subscription games are getting less and less common, less and less popular. People just aren't willing to pay for games on a monthly basis anymore. EVE Online is growing, and it's been growing since its inception. That's crazy, because even World of Warcraft, as big as it is, in fact, World of Warcraft is way bigger than EVE Online in terms of the size of the player base, but World of Warcraft, its population is declining and EVE Online's is going up. So that tells you something about the game. What makes a game where the population keeps going up? That's something that a developer really wants out of a game, I think, especially an MMO. That's healthy, and ideally that's what you'd have for the lifetime of a game. In my opinion, I feel like MMOs should last forever. They should basically be worlds that continually evolve in a positive direction in a way which absorbs people into them. And that's what EVE Online is. But I'm getting a little bit off track. My history with EVE Online. So I discovered it many, many years ago. And I played it hardcore for about 2 years. And sort of after the time where I was super involved in the community, I sort of fell off of the game, but I never really let it go. Every couple months or so, I subscribed to the game for about a month and played a little bit before I realized that it's really kind of boring, and I stopped playing it. But for some reason, I just seem to not be able to get it out of my mind, even though I'm not an active player. I sort of feel like I still am, because I follow the news about EVE Online, and it's just always in the back of my mind. Now, why is that? I think it's because EVE Online is basically the most engrossing game that has ever been designed. It's actually hard to say that EVE Online is a game. I actually think it's the closest thing that we have to a complete virtual world at this point in time. Calling it a game actually sort of does it a disservice, I think. It's not just there for fun. It's there to almost live an entirely new life. That sounds a little bit crazy, but it's true. The people who are involved with EVE Online live and breathe EVE Online. The reason for this is that the depth of the game is just... it's incomprehensible, basically. The economy is the biggest and most complicated I've ever seen. It rivals real-world economies. And the depth of the systems with EVE Online is so great that you really can't learn everything there is to do in EVE Online. It's a topic, like the game itself, you can just study it forever, and still there's more information that you can discover about it. You're not going to completely understand the entire game. Now, all that being said, I also think EVE Online sort of fails in a way as a game. It's probably one of the most boring games I've ever played. Moment to moment, EVE Online is sort of a drag. It's called Spreadsheets in Space for a reason, but it works on your brain in a sort of different level. It's not really that fun. What it gets you in is sort of the deeper parts of your brain, which is all about like working things out and, assigning value to your interactions between people and stuff like that. That's where EVE Online really shines, and it's one of the reasons I think that it's so engrossing and that why the player base keeps going up. because it's hard to escape. It's hard to escape because it creates an entire world within your imagination. So, I'm not sure really what to think. I don't play EVE Online very actively because it is boring. And yet, at the same time, I see where it's sort of, I feel like it could be the future of games. It's the model for a sustainable universe. It's basically creates a virtual space which people get invested in, one which they personally get invested in as people. And that's something I think which should be brought to a lot of games. This sort of throwaway culture around games is sort of disturbing, and it sort of discards one of the interesting things about games, which is that they can be more than just a single piece of media. Most of them are. Like the Call of Duties of the world are basically like a high budget film. You go and watch it. You know, you go and play a Call of Duty just like you watch a movie. Play it for a little bit, it gives you some entertainment, and then you're done with it because there isn't that sort of depth. But the possibilities of video games is to give you this wide-ranging experience, and that's what EVE Online does best, is it creates a space in which you can have such dynamic experiences that even the designers of the game could not have predicted what you would do with the tools that you're given. That's something which should be brought into other games. I want to see more game worlds, especially in like the MMO genre. That's what they're trying to do, is create these game worlds that you become invested in, but they're all sort of failing. Other than EVE Online, they've been failing. While they get people more invested than a Call of Duty or other game that has a limited scope, these MMOs are not surviving. There's this bell curve of investment where people enter the game, it swells and gets more popular as more people hear about it, but then eventually the scope of the world shows that it doesn't have the adequate depth to maintain basically the sort of complicated relationships that you need for the human mind to become attached to a virtual space. And eventually they get bored of the game because they've experienced it all. There's nothing more really to do. And what little is left and what little content they add doesn't add dynamics. It just adds another, like, couple things you can do. Another episode onto the chapter, not really increasing the depth of the world itself. But I think that formula is going to change. At some point, someone is going to have to recognize what is going on with EVE Online. Someone's going to have to figure out what they're doing and make something similar. And hopefully, maybe EVE Online itself, EVE Online, since it is surviving, it can become anything. It can become deeper and more engrossing. It might be something that I actually play in the future if they add the sorts of things that I want. Especially things that, like, moment to moment make the experience fun, because it's not. It's not fun. But I'd like to see that depth replicated in other settings. It doesn't just have to be this sci-fi big universe setting. It can even just be on a single planet. It could be in a fantasy setting. It could be anything really that we think of. And it's just adding the dynamics that we see. Maybe the moment-to-moment gameplay that is fun that we find in these episodic games, in these sort of games that we throw away a lot, that we have fun with and stuff. Bring those dynamics and put that fun layer on top of a layer full of depth, which has investment. When we can combine both things that are fun with things that have this deep pull and realism, that's when we'll be able to create virtual experiences, virtual worlds, in which we can experience truly new things, truly new experiences, truly unique things. And that's what I really want out of games. It's not just a thing that we should be doing to entertain and escape from life. It should be creating experiences which add to our lives. And in that regard, I think we should look to EVE Online and see what it does well. Try to emulate and improve upon that sense of investment to bring it to new sorts of things, new sorts of experiences, and to sort of develop the future of games. I guess that's all I really have to say on the subject. It's sort of weird because I started this off talking about EVE Online, but more I sort of ended up talking about virtual worlds in general. I'm sure I lost a lot of you with what I was saying. If you haven't played EVE Online, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, I thought I would put that out there. And yeah, if you have anything to say, if you think I had any good ideas, or you think I've missed something, maybe you think I'm full of shit. Like, no, you're just crazy. Whatever. Please tell me in the comments, because I always want to discuss games. I always want to sort of push the future of games, explore the limits of what is possible. And that can only be done by discussing it with other gamers, bringing these ideas of what we think is fun, what we think is interesting to game designers, and really just being aware that this is new territory. Games, while they're designed to be fun, and in often cases just to be relaxation and escape from life, they're really more than that. They really can be more than that, at least, as long as we're willing to push new ideas, to explore new stuff. I guess that's about it. I'm First Zen from Hitbox Heroes. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment and do all that YouTubey stuff, and I'll see you later.